Have you ever had to storm evacuate, or have you like what was the longest you ever been without power in a storm?
Um, there was a blackout in California,
Uh-huh.
like 15 years ago in
Yeah.
San Diego, and it was like 2 days. And I remember being so bored. And I know that's like very, not,
Yeah.
that's not nice to say because people are. This is like bad. It's real bad after this hurricane.
Yeah.
But we sat in a car and listened to a football game on the radio, and we drank beer.
Yeah.
So it's like what people would have done back in like the 50s or whatever,
Yeah.
or like before TV.
Yeah, it literally takes you to almost a different era.
Yeah,
Like uh, the best way to describe it, because you said 2 days.
I think so. Yeah,
2 days.
something like that.
I've been without power several times during post hurricane stuff, like 2 days. So the longest for me was I exaggerated when I talk about it on stage, but I was without power for 12 days.
Ooh,
12 days. It was in Central Florida. It was a hurricane that was in the Gulf, crossed kind of like the most recent one. But instead of going straight up, it crossed the state and came out by Jacksonville, and it came back out to the Atlantic and then hit like Georgia. But it picked up speed a little bit, and then but I mean it wasn't like a hurricane. It didn't pick up it didn't become a stronger hurricane. It just became like a stronger tropical cyclone or whatever the bullshit.
yeah.
But when it crossed the state, where I was at was near an area in Orlando called the Four Corners, and so Four Corners means four different counties.
Oh, okay.
Four counties, and so they all had like two of the counties had two different. It was a power It wasn't because of how devastating the storm was. It was because it was a power dispute about like who's covering this area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Everyone
and I wasn't where I lived at was a bunch of poors, so we weren't necessarily a priority. And so when I was without power, like a lot longer than I should have been for the amount of damage.
Yeah,
But 12 days fucking sucked,
dude, that's wild because
yeah.
I mean, like I said, I was like 2 days, and I was sitting in the back seat of that car with my friends,
Yeah.
was drinking beer and listening to football, and I was like, "This is awful. This is really, really." And that should be on paper. That sounds like a nice thing.
Yeah.
But I was so bored. I was like, but it's just because your brain is used to seeing a screen, you know?
Yeah, or just you get accustomed to a certain style of life. It's like it's kind of like how when people get divorced and one of the partners is rich and they try to sue for a lot more money because you get accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then it's a setback, and like it almost feels like a time machine, like you said. Like you went from being in what year was that? Like in the early
It was
2000s?
like 2010.
Okay, so the early aughts of 2000s, whatever, 2010.
I forget what happened. Someone like peed on a cable or something out there.
Yeah.
Like
I think I heard about that. I mean,
SDG&E.
I mean, but those big cities, like all it takes is one transformer blow, and it just takes out power. And because they're so those areas of the country are so like L.A. and San Diego, and like the bigger cities, the bigger metropolitans, they're so densely populated.
Yeah.
So you blow out one transformer. If it was in a rural area, it would probably be 1,000 people
just
without
the
power.
Johnsons, you know?
Yeah. Dave's without power, you know.
Yeah.
But because it's such a big area, it's like you got 50,000 people now without
Right.
power. It's insane.
So the power goes out here quite a bit, but they also fix it really fast.
Yeah.
Like so that happens, but the parts of Florida here got fucked up, and then
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to curse. How
Yeah.
long are we in?
Yeah.
4 minutes. Damn it.
4 minutes. You could make it
We
4
ruined
minutes. You filth. I don't even know if I curse. wasn't even paying attention.
I don't know if that's how it works, but I heard someone mention that.
We'll have to be more mindful in coming episodes. But
Let us
we
know,
were doing good,
listeners. What write in the comments what we should do.
Yeah, if anyone knows any algorithm tricks, that'd be sweet. I might have to ask some of my more online savvy or successful people. Like
I know.
Yeah, because I mean, I there's some tricks that I do that seems to do okay, I guess. like the day you post certain things and stuff like that, or what times, stuff like that. But yeah, it was. Honestly, I think that it was one of the few times in my life where I was just like, yes, I get to go to work because I had power.
Because you had electricity.
I had electricity, and it was so funny because I let them know that like, hey man, I'm still without power. So they let me like come to work and bring like all my devices, all my like portable things, and charge them up. And
That's
stuff.
nice.
They were cool about it. But yeah, it was such a weird thing. I took so many cold showers. I mean, I took more cold showers than like a very horny priest. Like I could just imagine he's just like, oh, the temptation. Yeah,
Did you not have hot water?
No hot water.
No hot water.
No hot. Yeah, because a lot of those are hot water heaters usually run off electricity, or they're attached to the power.
Yeah.
So no hot. I mean, I had water. I got lucky about that. You know, I mean,
no water.
I mean,
really
I couldn't imagine.
intense.
I couldn't imagine it being more devastating and not having water on top of like no electricity. Like,
well, and I think that's how a lot of Western North Carolina is right now. They said there's no water or power or internet.
yeah.
So they're like,
What's crazy? I mean, it's insane. I didn't realize the extent of it because I have shows in this Thursday. I have a show in Panama City, and I have shows next weekend, tentatively in Clearwater, which is got hit. But that area got hit. That storm surge. That's all beach stuff, but that didn't get hit nearly as bad as areas in Georgia. I mean, there's some, and in areas north of Tampa, St. Pete, like Steinahachie, like there's I forgot what they call that. It's like it's the little curve in Florida.
the Redneck Riviera.
The Redneck Riviera, I think is what they call it. Yeah.
30A is up there in like Destin and Pensacola and.
Oh no, not that far west. Not that far.
You're talking about like the actual curve?
The actual curve. I forgot what they call that.
Well, there's Cedar Key, like before the actual curve happens, and then in the actual curve, I don't think there's a lot there, right? Isn't it like?
Yeah. Oh, it's not a lot there, but what's there got fucked up. Like,
is it like state park land or?
It's state parks,
know.
but there's also a lot of
little towns.
But little townships. I mean, and then. Oh man, forget about like or North Carolina. I'm hearing like small towns outside of Asheville and stuff like those. The whole town just got wiped off the face of the earth.
And it's insane because you don't like North Carolina. You don't think hurricane, especially Western North Carolina.
Well,
like Wilmington maybe, but
yeah,
Western, and they're not ready for stuff like that. Like they're
and that's why they got
everything's built on a hill and
landslides, and the flooding. I saw a video. I forgot where it was. It was a single wide trailer where like the river overflowed. I mean, it was the amount of rain. I think is what got everybody. The amount of rain that came down.
Yeah.
They said overall, I think Helene between all the states dropped somewhere in the ballpark of 1 trillion gallons of water.
What?
Yeah.
So that's gonna take a long time to recover. That's sad. I like North Carolina. I went to school there and I lived there for a little bit. And Western North Carolina, especially, is so beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's a real bummer.
I actually considered moving to Asheville.
Yeah.
Like I really considered it. I really considered it heavily because like,
my
cousin used to live in Asheville. He literally just moved like 6 months ago to Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh wow. Okay.
And where he lived at,
Two great cities.
Huh?
2 great cities.
Yeah, where he lived at, he told me was gone, like, or it's like fuck, like screwed up real bad.
Yeah, that's crazy. You wouldn't think moving right on the water.
Yeah, or you never thought that living in Asheville, North Carolina, you would ever get affected by a hurricane.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like that far inland, like
I
it's
know.
insane. It's wild to think, and I think that's what was so devastating. They said there's like somewhere in a ballpark like 600 people still missing. 600
What?
people are missing. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. The death toll. It's crazy. I was like, that's crazy though. Like, this
may be our least funny podcast.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's
there's 600 people out looking for cheer wine.
Yeah, yeah.
God, cheer wine is awesome.
Just idealizing a Buc-ee's. Coming near there.
That's fine. That's terrible.
Oh, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you'd imagine if there's landslides and stuff, there must have been houses and stuff that just got wiped off, and like people who just stayed or slept, you know.
Yeah, it's insane. And it's so weird. Here's the weird thing about like what we do. The world of entertainment, the world of art, and stuff like that.
Those two worlds are very far apart.
Huh? Yeah,
I said a lot of times they're very far apart. Entertainment and art.
Yeah, I mean, but what we do, like the podcast and stand up, and stuff like that,
yeah.
It's so weird because I'm once you start getting to the point where you become monetized and things, or you get paid to do stuff, it's hard to mentally want to schlep your comedy wares when you know that like just the world is just on fire constantly.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know?
Don't you like comedy is embarrassing. It's an embarrassing thing, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I used to love it with a blind passion, and I think it was a youth and like also like a social thing, and like but it's also like I still love it that much.
Yeah.
But like the stand-up itself has become so different than what it was like maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure so much different than prior to that. People who, started prior to that. And I think it's just, I find it both like, I'm like, I admire so many people who do stand up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, man, they're so funny and they're so, like, it's brilliant, comedically brilliant. And then there's so many people that I'm just like, I'm so embarrassed to be associated with this thing that's called like people. Yeah. And, that's a real struggle. I genuinely struggle with that. And I never did, but I do now.
Well, it also makes sense that so many comedians are have like Asperger's and stuff, because it almost makes sense, because only an Asperger's autist would be like, hey, watch me tell jokes. And it's like, hey, my house is gone. Come on.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I guess you become more aware of like the world, and you're like, wow, like, and then people, you'll be like, comedy is an escape, man. You gotta stop people from thinking all that bad stuff. But you're like, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, but like last night, I did a set at an open mic, and it was me just being very real.
Yeah,
like in a way that I'm not like honest. Like, because I'm known for being very affable and very good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't do any of that. I did a very real set about how like, and this is me constantly. It's not even me during that set. It's like, this is how I am because of how my year shaped out with my dad and everything, and then how just like you watching the news, it's either natural disasters, Gaza Strip, Free Palestine.
Oh God, everyone's bombing everyone.
Yeah, did everyone forget about Ukraine?
Freak sex parties.
Yeah, Diddy's. Oh God, we're gonna get into that. Like that feels like the least.
I said a long time ago, on this podcast, like the Ukraine war is about us. Selling them weapons, because there's so much money in that.
Yeah,
and that's why we probably get 30 views a podcast.
Oh yeah,
but
no one wanted to hear the truth.
Don't say that.
Yeah. But
they said that in the debate at one point. They're like Ukraine's good. They buy a lot of weapons from us. But then it's all you hear is Ukraine war, the Middle East war, Israel and Palestine. Everyone's bombing everyone, and then like natural disaster, and then Diddy.
Yeah. And then here we are as comedians that are like, you got all this plus the election plus
God, the election.
abortion rights and
I know.
legalizing marijuana. They executed an innocent man a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. I saw
all this
that.
shit, and then we're just like, hey, come to my show Thursday at the Chuckle Fart. You know, like it's like
the banana hammock.
at the banana
Just doing
hammock
a showcase of local comics.
Buy one get one slaw dogs. You know,
and it's funny that we live in like, that's what's hard. It's hard to even if like we're like you and I are hey. You and I are pretty good at stand up. We're decent enough, you know.
Yeah.
We get a good response when we do shows.
Yeah.
But it's like the blind confidence that some people have in it, and without the backing, you know, the ability is so wild to me, and it's painful. But also regular people, non-comics respond to that. They genuinely see it as like the amount of followers you have is like a funniness rating.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like a little meter of
and
like,
it's so frustrating.
And people will say, I don't know if you've heard this. They'll go, have you heard of this comedian? He's really funny. He has this many followers. They'll like put it in the in the same
breath.
Yeah. Like, and you're like, oh, yeah, like. You know, we've heard of every comedian. Like every comedian, a regular person is going to come up to you and be like, "Have you heard of this guy?" It's someone you've known for 10 years, or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I get that all the time.
All the time. Yeah,
you just like.
And the longer you do it, the more you actually know these people.
Right.
Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
But it even then, like, it's so weird because like we're not famous, but
aggressively unfamous.
We're aggressively unfamous, but like I am just responding to you, like. I've seen you crush in a way that is like, there's a lot of these delusional comics that have huge followings.
Yeah.
That couldn't even hold a candle to the type of sets that I've seen you do. And it's like this, it's just unfair balance in the world of comedy where it's like,
and
what
you're the same. It's like, why isn't there such a, like, I'll see, it's just, and I don't know what it is. It's like do they follow a lot of... I don't know what it is. But also, I am the type of person who's like a contrarian.
Yeah.
And I guess probably difficult. But like, I'm not going to sit on Instagram and try to strategically follow people to get people to... Like, I'm not going to put
same way.
any time into that. I'll go and do a show and try to do as good as I can. And, you know, I'll get like 1 or 2 follows. And I'm just like, this is like...
my thing is, I don't care. I wouldn't say I don't care how long it takes. But my thing is, I would rather do it the way I've been doing it. Organic.
Yeah.
Organic, where both of us are in a spot where anyone that's ever seen us crush knows that we're, I guess the term would be undeniable. Like, you can place us in any type of room, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I just... Even though I've seen we were watching sketches that you made last time we recorded. I'm good at making sketches. I just don't enjoy. I don't want that to be part of my. When I do sketches, they're fun for me.
Yeah.
Once you take the fun out of it, it's already bad enough that I do stand up and I have now made it the business of it. This, like, the podcast, the business of it. But once you make everything like a 9 to 5, then it's like, I mean. Then you took the passion out of it a little bit. Then I'll just go back to a fucking 9 to 5.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. And then here's the biggest thing for me is I still have the hardest time. Like, I got shows this weekend, and all of them are paid shows. I got to promote them. But I have the hardest time, hey, come to my show. And it's like, hey, dude, like one of my comic friends in the Panhandle, his mom her house is gone. He just showed a picture, and it's literally an open field with stakes that used to be stakes that held the house up.
Yeah, God.
And it's so weird for me to be like, come to my show, you know. I'll sell buttons after the show. Like, it's so weird. It's man, it's such a dilemma, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, and then you know, we are the truth sayers, we are the truth tellers, And I have a hard time, like, I'll tell my story about me being without power for 12 days. When I do it on stage, I exaggerate how long. It goes anywhere from 12 to 18 days.
Yeah.
Whatever's the funniest. Whatever's the funniest amount of time.
18 days is wild.
That's wild. I mean, there's probably going to be people that are without power for longer than that, you know, in these areas.
I know. I wonder if they're going to, like... I wonder if they're gonna like barter with each other, because if like everything electronic is shut down, you know, like if they're like, think about if you have all your money in a bank, and your phone shuts off and you have no ability, you can't walk up to like your neighbor and be like, I'm gonna swipe your credit card, and then you have no internet.
Yeah,
so you can't like send them money.
Yeah,
digitally.
Most of the places they're cash only.
Yeah, so
which is crazy because our
whole
society has been pushing towards a cashless society,
right?
And
right,
then,
which a lot of people don't have. Like some people who think about situations like this have like a mattress full of cash.
Yeah,
but a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
you know.
And then one thing I thought about, me and a couple other comics were riffing this last night actually, and it's funny. If you said barter and trade.
Yeah, I wonder if they would like set up some sort of.
So here's the crazy thing. Like, I've been for the past 10 years of my life, I've been my only trade and my only job, for the most part, skill that I've been good at is comedy. That's not a viable resource in the barter trade system. I can't be like, hey man,
I'll make you laugh for a minute.
Can you change my? Can I get a tire from you, and I'll tell you 5 minutes of dick jokes?
Hang on 1 second.
You know, that's wild. What's up, buddy? Yeah, that's insane. I just wish we had I don't know, more. Just the longer I do this, the longer I am like, this is a useless skill. I mean, not useless. I mean, you know, I've been able to pay bills and pay.
Oh, boys. Okay.
Pay bills and like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I've been able to make money off of this, but it's just like the longer I do this, the more I realize this is such a useless skill, being able to make people laugh, because it's like. I don't know.
It's hard to imagine with like I think about it also like I'm like, why don't people just go on the internet, you know? Just an infinite not only stand-up clips, whatever, but just infinite content to watch and entertain yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, knowing how to do stand-up is really. I went to school for TV production, like TV and film production. And I learned like how to do the stuff and like put it together. Yeah. And it used to be like a skill. And I graduated in 2006. Yeah. And in 2007, they made like smartphones. Yeah. And then within like a very short time, just everybody knew how to do the thing I went to school for. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, and I learned stand up. I did that. You became. And now memes, it's just memes and.
You became outdated in 2 years. You know?
Oh yeah, no, it's all wrong choices, you know.
And then and also just the fact that like everything that we're doing can probably be replaced in like 5 years with AI.
Yeah, probably better. They'll probably just do like on a TV screen. It'll probably be like a frog. Yeah, and it'll be like,
"Hey, I am Froggy the Frog." Yeah. You know,
isn't it weird that it'll be like just topical jokes? Speaking of topical jokes, are you excited about Diddy, the Diddy trial?
Speaking of Diddy, this is
do you
totally
think he's gonna live?
This is unrelated but totally related. I just saw your dog shut the door on us, like the door was open and then he shut it, and then looked back, and I was like, that is the most frightening thing I've ever seen.
Like
it was like
sentient being.
You ever seen what's the movie? I can't remember. A Bronx Tale. You ever seen that movie, The Bronx Tale? Yeah. Where those Hell's Angels
for $20.
Where the Hell's Angels guys started causing trouble.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You guys got to go." And he's like, fuck you, we'll tell you where to go. And then he locks
Lock the door. Now
He
you
goes,
can't
"Now
leave.
and that's exactly what your dog just did.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and it's so funny because I knew we were gonna start talking about the Diddy stuff, and I was like, that was a very Diddy moment. Like, I was expecting him to like,
He's a good Italian dog.
pull out of his fur like a little mini bottle of baby oil, you know?
Little Bravo ragazzo.
It's well, before we get started in all the baby oil and lube stuff, he's got so much going against him. First of all, there was the video.
Wait, before we jump in,
yeah,
just right from the start, do you think they're gonna kill him in prison?
Oh, he's gonna get Epstein?
Yeah.
I mean, possibly.
Also, the same like guy who handled the Epstein case for New York,
yeah,
is handling the Diddy one.
Ooh.
He's like the highest law enforcement ranking for that.
Yeah.
I wish I was smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if he will live through the trial because there's a lot of people apparently because I guess he had cameras in his house and he used to have like all these parties.
Yeah.
And so he's got a lot of famous people.
Oh, he's got so much. He's got so many things against him. So before we get started on that, the potential of celebrities and sex parties and Illuminati getting pulled into it, that whole thing.
Yeah.
There was a video that surfaced like before this particular incident came out, where he had an ex-girlfriend named Cassie who was an R&B singer, and this was like back in 2016, and the video just shows Diddy just wholesale beating her ass.
Isn't this in a hotel or something?
Yeah.
I think I saw that.
He's like kicking her around and smacking her and shit like that. And I think he punched her, and then like she ends up going back to the room, and then he's like in the lobby. It's a hotel. He's just walking around the floor of the hotel.
Yeah.
And then he's just like kicking lamps over and shit, very casually, like with no sense of urgency. You know, like if I would, but if I was to beat my wife, I wouldn't just be like smack, and then like take a smoke. Like he's like reflecting on
he's
the
like
beating.
real casual about it.
Yeah, he's like, oh.
Well, apparently there was a lot of lawsuits and stuff for assault and like sexual assault and stuff allegedly.
Over 100.
Wow.
Anywhere from 100 to 128 cases. And there's quite a bit of them involving kids.
Where did you learn about this? You read about it?
Read about it. Different sources. Read about it, and then there's like feed stuff like from some of these like these little share group Instagram post things or whatever. Now have a link, and in the news, and in the new like I saw today in the news. You know, you have to do independent research on everything because I don't trust any one particular source,
right?
Because it's like very like the news is not the news that from the Vietnam era. It's like 5 companies own all the news stations, so of course they're going to admit and whatever they want to. But the particular thing I saw before I left was there's 128 reaffirming whatever thing I saw online, 100 to 128, and then they said that there's quite a bit of them are from underage victims.
Oh.
Both male and female, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Male and female.
Yeah, he had, like, people flown in, like...
Yeah, and the youngest victim was 9.
What?
Yes. I mean, you named your company Bad Boy. You know what I mean? Like, I get the point in the hip-hop world, maybe, to, like, kind of bravado, but, like, that's not a good sign, you know? I mean, it's like a... You know, it's like naming your company. You know, hey, we're gonna fondle you with baby oil. Like, fucking. And then
he went to Alibaba Express and ordered baby oil.
A crate. How many was it?
Costco,
1,000 bottles?
1,000 bottles. They said
1,000 bottles.
I didn't read I guess they released a statement for a reason, which I didn't read.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really funny to try to be like, oh yeah, there was like. I don't know what they said, but I would love to know.
It would be different if he had 1,000 bottles of baby oil, and apparently it was baby oil and lube, and then 547 dildos they recovered.
Wow,
547. So okay, take the dildos aside. It would be different if you had 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube, but then they were like, "Hey, we found 1 million square feet of tarp." And it was like, oh, okay, he's just a big ass slip and slide. All right. Like,
have you ever made a big slip and slide like
God.
that? It's so fun.
Fucking fun. I have so many
soap and
Dawn soap, baby oil
and a
works
hose.
wonders. And then one time we had a slip and slide at this church, and it started at the top of a hill, like a little hill.
Yeah.
And then it went on the dip of the hill into some grassy area. And somebody, a buddy or whatever, had bought a new bottle of like lube, but we're at a church, so he peeled off the label and then slit like just went generously on it, and that we were getting launched into the woods. We were getting like launched because also I was a little heavier. I was a little like well, I wouldn't say heavier. I was about the same size, but I was younger. I was a big boy.
Mass plus speed, right?
Oh, mass! I was faster. I was sweatier. And I mean, I got launched like 6 feet past like where anywhere was safe. I got launched like literally into the woods.
Yeah.
I remember getting up and I had like pine cone pieces on me and stuff.
That's awesome.
Oh man. Did you like slip and slides? Did you ever?
Yeah, we did. I loved it as a kid, like the actual slip and slide brand one. But like then in college, we used to do we did one. I remember one specifically. We did a long tarp, but we did. It was like a relay race, so you had to, and we did like guys and girls, and you had to chug a beer, and then dizzy bat, and then run and slide down the tarp, which was like 50 yards long or something. It was like or 25 yards long. It was pretty. And then you had to run back and dive into a kiddie pool, and then run across the finish line. And then the next person could go.
That sounds fun.
And
that sounds like so. Well, maybe not now. I like it.
Not
sounds
now.
fun.
I mean, we'd all get hurt. But
oh yeah, it sounds fun.
But back
in
then
theory,
it was fun. Dizzy bat after chugging a beer is like It's funny because I think it was 10 rotations or 8 or something, but it was enough where when you stopped, like the world's spinning.
Oh, you got vertigo.
So you had to be like, whoa, take a clumsy step.
Oh man, I the only time I ever had a slip and slide brand slip and slide experience was my grandma had bought us a slip and slide, I guess, from Kmart from the clearance thing. And this one was cool. I mean, we were so rough on it that we destroyed it so quickly. Yeah. I don't know if you were like hard on them. Like this one had like a pool at the end of it.
Yeah. Like that's the best kind. Yeah.
Oh, and then not only that, it had like this ring with like fringe pieces, and then like it had an inflatable piece, so you would slide and then pop up the inflatable piece. And basically get launched through the fringe into the pool.
It's like a kiddie pool kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh man, that was. But we were all a bunch of husky kids, and we destroyed that in 6 hours. We it was done. It was, yeah.
I do remember the best slip and slide story I have.
Yeah,
and it was a keg race in college, and it was freshmen and juniors versus sophomores and seniors, and it was I don't know how many kegs, but it was both sides had to finish like 3 kegs or whatever, 4 kegs. I forget what it was. I want to say 8, but that seems too much. But it was a keg race. Maybe it was 1. I don't know. Anyway, it was those 2 sides, so it was like aggressive drinking, and they made a funny They made a thing which was set up just like a slip and slide what we were just talking about. Yeah. But the end of it, the front of it, it's at pucometer. And so if you were, it was just chugging, so people are puking all the time. Yeah. But if you had to puke, the idea of this thing was you start at where the thing starts, and you see how far you could projectile puke down the tarp. What the fuck? So it was a pucometer part. And then some people were getting so drunk they'd just run up. They couldn't get to the front. They'd just puke just from the side onto it, Oh, and so it was disgusting tarp full of puke. Yeah. And so we're going and going. And we finished the thing. Everyone's very drunk. And that someone dared someone else to, like, how much money will you give me if I run and slip and slide through the puke?
Oh God.
And and they gathered $41. I remember $41, and this guy stripped down to his boxers and socks.
Yeah.
Boxers and socks, and he ran and he slid down the whole thing, and it created like a wave of puke on both sides. And he hopped up, he covered in it, and he grabbed the cash and he just sprinted away, like towards his. He was running home to take a shower.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
holy shit,
that was one of the wildest things, because I mean that it was like sick. I mean, you know, it was 50 plus people there.
Yeah.
So you're talking like, it was disgusting. It was one of the funniest and grossest things I've ever seen.
Well, I had a buddy who one of his he joined a frat, and they were saying that one of theirs, they had a similar slip and slide like I told you about, but instead of the kiddie pool being filled with water, it was filled with like fish guts or something like that.
Oh God,
like weird shit like that.
Yeah.
Like it was just like it was like trash.
Yeah,
and that was part of the initiation for the frat was to run and like slide into that. And then when you got in there, you couldn't just get out. You had to like literally like sit in it,
roll around in it like my dogs do.
Yeah, and then I think the clothes that you wore. This is also part of the initiative. The clothes that you wore, then they took it, like you change and they put it somewhere and they let it dry.
Yeah.
And I think it was like button ups and stuff, like regular like going out clothes. Then you had to wear that and then try to talk to girls.
That's good.
Yeah. So it's like dried fish guts and shit, and you have to try to like talk to, I mean he was saying that no one got a woman to get 3 syllables beyond hi. Like it was just, yeah.
This is gross.
Oh, that's disgusting.
We weren't allowed to talk to girls for 8 weeks, and but they all knew that, so they would like fuck with us. They would come up and say like provocative things that you couldn't respond to. You know?
Oh, that's funny. So were you Catholic?
No, it was just part of like, you couldn't talk to girls the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the last week of it, you couldn't speak for 7 days, and you just wrote everything down, which is an insane experience, because especially if you're like now, like our focus is given to, you know, cell phones and dogs and whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard to like really. So when you do that, your mind, like, it's crazy. It's a weird experience. But anyway,
that's some psychological warfare shit, man.
Yeah, it's wild. We had to do that stuff. One night we had to they like made a blender of like, it was like tuna and mustard and shampoo and cigarette ash and spit and all that. And they did a thing where it was, so they filled this, it was like a giant like Stein glass up, you know, like probably 32 ounce thing. And it was like 6 of us, and we're kneeling on the ground, which was very painful anyway. And you had to finish the cup by the end of it. So the idea is like, the more you drink, the less the next person has to drink.
Oh God!
So it was like a test, sacrifice kind of test.
Yeah.
And so we all went, and like, you know, and I remember I was like 2nd or 3rd or something, and it was still the grossest thing I've ever tasted. And then after that, they made us do something which is like vaguely like military kind of something, but it was just, we're in a room, and it was like a room like this. Imagine. So we're, you know, this is like a very small to medium-sized room, but
yeah,
they took they put us all on one side of the room, and they put duct tape up around 7 feet high. So imagine, or you know, 6 feet high.
Yeah,
and we had to get everybody over top of the duct tape from, you know, up and over the duct tape to the other side before we could go to sleep. And sleep deprivation was the worst part of like all this because we'd sleep like very, very little. I was up for 96 hours once on at a time. I was hallucinating.
Yeah.
And then I slept for like 16 hours straight. It's awesome.
You disassociate to the point where you're like,
oh yeah,
it's weird. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, it's nuts. I fell asleep standing up.
Yeah.
Which is anyone who stays up for a long time, it's like it's real wild. But anyway, yeah, the duct tape thing was real hard. All that stuff is very like it's so dumb.
Trying to figure out what the dogs are doing.
The dogs are just like, pay attention to us.
Come on, we're cute and shit, man.
They're good.
Dogs and hot girls are like the same.
The what?
Dogs and hot girls are like the same.
Oh yeah,
they get mad when you don't show them attention.
Yeah, they want designer items.
Yeah.
You want a designer collar? Designer collar?
I don't know why, but your dog fucked my best friend. Like
they just talk. Yeah, they just bratty.
It didn't mean anything. He's just a good guy.
Well, speaking of Diddy, I met Diddy at a Knicks game when I was young, and I have his autograph on the back.
Yeah, you sent the picture, and I was also looking at the lineup, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a good lineup." That was in the
you see, then it's right there.
Yeah,
and then I have stacked in there is like all my tickets or most of the tickets I had ticket stubs.
Yeah,
but yeah, I met a handful of celebrities then.
Yeah,
because '90s Knicks was like real popular.
Yeah, it was a good squad. I mean, the only thing keeping them from winning a chip was Jordan, basically.
Yeah.
You know,
and then
Reggie Miller,
in
the Pacers.
Hakeem Olajuwon and Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, so it was pretty cool though. But he didn't traffic me or anything, so I guess
you weren't savory enough for Diddy.
I wasn't Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
I wonder what will come out of that, or if do you think they'll Epstein him in jail,
or maybe they'll lock him in a room and let Suge Knight have some of them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
They.
You don't want to be in your prison cell with your cellmate dancing all in your toilet.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know.
How was he though? How was he when you met him though? Was he cool?
Well, I was like, what was that, 98? So imagine I'm like 13 years old. So imagine 13-year-old me. I'm like real awkward.
Yeah.
Like probably had glasses on.
Hey, Mr. Puffy,
and like
sir.
So nerdy. Yeah. Like a little nerd. And I remember him signing it, and I remember him almost not like annoyed, but like almost like he was like he had like, you don't know who the fuck I am, like kind of like energy about it.
Yeah.
Like it was like, I don't know, but I was 13. Like why wouldn't you have what, you know? I was just like a little kid.
Yeah. Also,
I met Tyra Banks in Evander Holyfield. Tyra Banks was amazing because she Tyra Banks in '98. Oh my goodness,
that's peak Tyra.
She had overalls on and like she was beautiful. I was like we were like as far away as you and I are right now.
Yeah.
Evander Holyfield. He had a big trench coat on and a hat. That was cool. And then Dan Reeves, the coach of the Giants. But like of all of them, like everyone knows who a lot of those people are, but like Puff Daddy's like still making headlines.
Yeah,
now, so.
I mean it's funny that he would
or
even
Diddy. He's now Diddy. He signed Puff Daddy. That's
98. He was Puff Daddy 98. Yeah. But it's funny that he would even like, I guess the look he gave you, like, you don't know who I am, like. It was 98. MTV played music.
Yeah,
still.
Everyone knew he was because it was after whenever that was, it was after Biggie died.
Yeah, 98 was like the year after.
So he was all around huge. Which I just saw an interview with Mace saying that Mace wrote like a lot of those songs.
Yeah,
that he got like all the credit for.
Yeah, and he got pushed out basically.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Yeah, Mason Betha. He's from he's from Jacksonville.
Yeah, he's great. Mace is great. We'll put his song, we'll put him on every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
He like gets you, he's like makes you happy all at once,
Yeah. And then another thing the side effect of this was my 50 Cent. He is the pettiest guy in hip hop.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when he doesn't like you, he will go out of his way to make your life a living hell.
Yeah.
So apparently he's been free since apparently Diddy did him wrong years ago or something. They got into a beef like long time ago. He's been keeping dibs on things about Diddy this whole time.
Oh.
And he's releasing a documentary apparently about Diddy and all his exploits, and it's going to be called Diddy Do It.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
50 Cent's hilarious.
Oh, dude.
Is he
yeah.
not?
And did you hear about the Ja Rule thing? The Ja Rule concert?
No.
So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I did, but say it because it's funny. If people don't know.
So ja Rule. Was doing a concert, I guess, in New York City. I'm not sure exactly where, but 50 Cent. He bought the first 10 rows. He bought all the tickets for the first 10 rows, just so there's no one in the first 10 rows.
That is amazing. That is. That's hilarious. It's really good. Vitamin water. He did good. He did good for himself.
I like that vitamin water. I actually liked his he had a
like a flavor
called Formula 50.
Oh,
and it was really, I actually really liked it.
I used to get whatever the yellow one was. It was like kind of citrus flavor, but
yeah,
vitamin water tasted like a drink that ice melted in.
Yeah, it tastes like if you put ice in Kool-Aid and then let it sit in the sun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
funny.
And it's so weird because as a kid I didn't care for it.
Yeah,
like his particular flavor was a little sweeter than the other ones.
Yeah.
But now I kind of like that. Like, just that low sweetness. Like, if it's too sweet, it's like, oh, I can't.
I know. Yeah, for sure. I think there's a nice balance, and I feel that way with like alcoholic drinks, like cocktails.
Yeah.
Sometimes like they're just way too sweet, but if you get a nice balanced one, it's so good.
Well, I see. Here's the weird balance. Like, so I'm not a beer guy.
Yeah.
I prefer hard liquor, but sometimes hard liquor is too powerful. It almost tastes like cough medicine.
Yeah.
So I like when it's like a sweet, like a crown apple, crown honey, crown peach.
Yeah.
All that is like the nice blend of like, you could taste the booze, but you could taste like the sweetness, and it's like a nice blend. Because like I don't want to drink a daiquiri. Like, that's too sweet. It's also like I'm not one of those guys like, oh, I don't need masculine drinks, but like some of those drinks are too frou-frou. There's like too much.
I was drinking like a Brazilian version of a daiquiri, which is something with a C. I forget how it's like sounds like capoeira, but it's like its own
capybara.
It's
made of ground up capybara.
It's like a Chippy Pano, it's like some kind of Brazilian name, but it's basically a daiquiri, but it's made with what is essentially Brazilian rum, like a type rum.
Yeah.
And it's fresh lime juice and sugar cane.
Yeah.
And it's this liquor. And I had 2 of those so like 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
They're amazing hot weather drinks.
Ooh.
So a good daiquiri, like a true like rum daiquiri, like fresh lime and sugar and rum, but like made strong enough that it's not like gross sweet.
Yeah.
That has a nice balance, well made.
Yeah, those are dangerous though.
So good. They are dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, because if they're too delicious, then I'm like, I want another one.
Yeah.
Like,
you're like, after 2, it's like you could go off the rails. And some of those tropical drinks are like that,
one of the drunkest I've ever been was I think I had like 4 daiquiris, but they made them. I don't know who made these, but it was somebody that loved strong drinks apparently.
Yeah.
There was I had one daiquiri and I was like, oh, this is really good.
That's what it's good when if you like. let's just, ordering mixed drinks sometimes, if you like to drink and you like strong drinks and you go to a place and they put like very little alcohol, that sucks because you're getting charged like
they're charging you
$14 for like half a shot, and you're like,
and they're watering it down with slushy juice.
But yeah, man, that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to do a drunk episode.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
We do.
We'll figure out what you'd be good, or what you'd like to drink, and we could
and then I think for that episode, I think we should like just put topics in a bucket.
Oh, that would be fun.
That because I mean I don't. Yeah, and then we're just like
fun mug style.
What's that?
Fun mug.
Fun mug. Yeah,
that's what we used to call it.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah, we used to do like 2 comics on a stage, and the audience would submit a topic, and we had like a god mic, and they would pull topics and read it, and then the 2 comics would riff on whatever the topic was. But it was fun because the 2 people who went up on stage were random, so it created random dynamics. So sometimes 2 comics together would be really good, and sometimes they'd be terrible, and sometimes they get into a fight, and sometimes they, sometimes it's like magic. They just have like great chemistry, and it's real good, and then sometimes it's a disaster.
See, so that sounds like a less pressure version of. I did a similar show, but it was a contest, and it was
it was like on the spot, like you have this is very relaxed, and it's like very like and they involve the audience gets involved because they submit the ideas. It involves a lot of comics, and doing 2 comics on the stage at one time is fun because, like I said, you have different dynamics that it creates, good and bad. But the only thing is, you have to, wherever you do it, you have to have 2 microphones. Like, it has to be. That's the only catch where you run into issues. You got to figure out where it could do that. But it works awesome, and it gets a great response because you're not trying to do crowd work. You're trying to do stand up, but it's spontaneous. You get the spontaneous
with like
energy
improv involved. Basically.
Yeah. It's fun. It's like we called it Fun Mug, but I've seen a million versions of it called different things. But whatever,
Yeah, I think we did a version like that in Jacksonville. It wasn't 2 people on the stage. It was like 1 person. Yeah, but it's similar. It was called Off the Cuff. Christina used to run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We used to do one of my favorite things, and this was like, you've been going to open mics too long. We used to go to Denny's, so it would be like go to Waffle House here. Yeah. And it would be like 5 of us, and we'd all independently write how you'd write your own set list, like a bullet pointed thing, but on a piece of paper, and then we'd fold them up and exchange, and then we'd go to the open mic, and you'd go on stage, and then you don't look at the paper until you're on stage, and you open it up, and you have like 5 bullet points, and you try to do a set based off these.
Oh, I actually like that.
And we only did it like 2 or 3 times, but I loved it because it was really challenging. It's kind of like stand up on the spot. Yeah. But the audience isn't in on it. So the audience isn't aware, like, oh, he's trying to make this up. So it's embarrassing.
Oh, okay.
It's embarrassing if you can't do it. So. But that is like that's us fucking with each other, and like, that's what I mean. Open mic betting we did too.
Yeah. With that, did anyone open theirs up and then someone didn't play by the rules and it was just like 5 prompts of 9/11?
We didn't get there, but it would. I'm sure it would have. Yeah.
Just
open mic
6 prompts. Say the N-word.
Yeah, just different versions of it. We did open mic betting where we would bet if like a person would say, we'd do like an over under, this person's gonna say, like if someone has a crutch on stage, like if someone has like a crutch like phrase that they go to or an action and you're aware of it, we would bet over unders how many times they're gonna do it. Like a friend of my old roommate used to, he was very funny, but he would say fuck a lot. Yeah. And fucking one other thing, I forget, but we would bet like, all right, he's doing 5 minutes and it's over under 12 fucks, and then we'd bet, we'd have dollars, we'd do a little pile, and then everyone would just watch intensely, someone said, you're like, why is everyone watching me? And then it would end with tallying and stuff. It's great. But that's your like, man, That's like we should have been doing smarter comedy business things.
Yeah,
we're having fun.
No, it's so funny because like I had that with me, where comics I don't think they bet they did like watch this, and then I did the thing and I can hear in the back high fiving, because apparently what I would do when I was at a mic, and I do it occasionally now, but I'm more cognizant of it. But apparently, if I was at a mic and I'm doing a bit or something, and it's not working, I would be like, all right, fuck yeah. Hell yeah, dude. I would say that.
Yeah.
Like, and if the rougher the mic, the more that came out.
Yeah.
And they're like, Crest was going to say 4 hell yeah, dudes. Fuck yeah. And next thing you know, fuck yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Hell
and
yeah,
then,
dude. Fuck
and
yeah.
then I keep giggling in the back, and then I do it, and then giggle. And then on the fourth one, I'm just hearing high fives.
Oh,
and
my
I'm
God.
Like, and at first I was like, ooh, yeah, they like that one. And it was
Yeah.
like, no,
You're like, fuck yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. And it was just me eating shit.
Oh, it's
and
so funny.
The comics is having fun with it.
Oh, man. Well, we could probably call it, I think. That's great. God, comedy is fun. You have any shows coming up?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Panama City, and then I'm gonna be in Orlando, and then back here in Jacksonville. Actually,
nice.
Doing a all well minus the Orlando one, all beach
Sweet
stuff. Yeah,
I'm doing on Friday St. Augustine with Anna Lepoli.
Oh yeah, at the Improv Theater there.
Yeah. Have you done that one?
I did an open mic, and
okay.
I think
is it religious?
No. But she's cool. She actually wanted me to get involved with the Improv Theater. My thing is like I'm wearing so many hats right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it sounded cool, the things that we were talking about. But yeah, it's would be a fun time.
Awesome. Well, it's not cool to be Diddy at the moment.
It's not cool to be Diddy.
But it is cool.
Take that.
Take that.